Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. My name is Matt Morris. I am your host. We are live right now on Rumble at Matt Morris TV and on YouTube at Matt Morris TV. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not lying. I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic or exaggeratory even when I say this, but late last night, a collective of senior ranking Democrat politicians that are all currently sitting in either the House of Representatives or the Senate have just openly and explicitly, very clearly and deliberately called for the U.S. military, members of the U.S. military, active service personnel in the U.S. military to engage in open sedition, insurrection even, against the sitting president, the democratically elected president of the United States of America. His name is Donald J. Trump. And so, folks, today, frankly, we have a hell of a lot to talk about. This is a big deal. I want every single person to hit the like button, to subscribe. I had a video earlier today. YouTube is doing something to suppress this channel. For the fourth time in the last 10 days, YouTube has been suppressing videos I've been uploading. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like on Rumble as well as on YouTube. Something weird is going on. But anyway, today, let's get right into the show because there is a lot to break down here. Now, folks, in order to kick all of this off and make sense of everything that is going on right now, we need to watch a 90-second video that was uploaded late last night by Senator Elissa Slotkin, Democrat senator, sitting in the Senate right now. She, as well as some other senior-ranking Democrats in this country, have sent a message to our military personnel in video form. So I'm going to full screen this, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to play this, and then we're going to break it all down. Take a look.
I'm Senator Elissa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military,
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Wow. Pretty clear, pretty explicit what they're trying to do here. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Like I said, we've got a hell of a lot to talk about today. That really kicked things off for us, didn't it? Now, the first thing worth commenting on, you'll notice they didn't actually say what President Trump is doing or commanding our military to do that is illegal. What are the illegal orders? What illegal, unconstitutional orders is President Trump, the commander-in-chief, giving? Well, they don't say that. They don't clarify that. So really, this is more, you need to understand what this is here. This is a wink, wink, nudge, nudge dynamic. This is a message being sent to people in the military or the intelligence apparatus. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you do whatever you want to undermine, subvert, or do anything you can to stop President Trump from doing the things he's trying to do, then we will do our best to protect you. We're a bunch of senior ranking Democrats. We're in the intelligence, we're in the House, we're in the Senate. If you undermine, subvert the democratic will of the American people, President Trump's America First agenda, we will stick up for you as you actively undermine and engage in sedition, insurrection against President Trump. We're going to try to get you to do it. And then if you do it, we're going to try to stick up for you and protect you. Now, we're not going to tell you exactly explicitly what to do, because then they'd have to be very clear and articulate. This is illegal. This is not illegal. This is illegal. This is one massive dog whistle is what this is. The term, this is a dog whistle. We have a massive super chat here on YouTube from Megan. Says you can see their eyes moving across a teleprompter. Well, of course, they're all reading the same script. It's all highly coordinated. Of course, absolutely. Thank you very much. It's all one massive dog whistle. And now we have all types of people across the country chiming in, weighing in. This is just insane that they would have the audacity, that they would be brazen enough to publicly send this message, to record this and issue this public message. Stephen Miller chimes in. He says, in response, 10 years after the deep state Russia hoax, top Democrats openly appeal to CIA and military officials to engage in rebellion against their commander-in-chief, President Trump. Do not underestimate how dangerously radicalized the Democrat Party has become. Is that true? Treason, sedition, insurrection, rebellion? Is that what they are trying to foment here or encourage here? Yes or no? I think yes. I see another super chat here from Ty King. He says, I served with a guy in the Marine Corps who joined the reserves after his 4. They told him to get the vaccine. He wouldn't do it, and they kicked him out and took his benefits. Many such cases, a little bit unrelated, but terrible. Many such cases. Thank God we're not in that dynamic anymore. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Stephen Miller is directly calling this out. I see another one here. It says, I'm a retired Army colonel. This post had 24,000 likes, 500,000 views on Twitter, on X. Retired Army colonel here. This is sedition. Now, I need to admit to my own ignorance. I'm not a military guy. I was never in the military. So I couldn't tell you, colonel, sergeant, commander. I don't know where, but I was watching Battlestar Galactica one time. And I know the colonel, he was telling everybody else what to do. So I think the colonel is pretty high up there. I think that's a pretty high-ranking member of the military, the colonel. And he says, yeah, no, this is sedition. Stephen Miller, he says, Democrat lawmakers are now, Stephen Miller, part of the Trump administration, Democrat lawmakers are now openly calling for insurrection. Yes or no? Is Stephen Miller correct about this? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Harrison H. Smith, working at InfoWars, he chimes in response, he messages this.
In the United States, 18 U.S. Code 2387, activities affecting armed forces generally, says this. It prohibits knowingly advising, counseling, urging, or in any manner causing or attempting to cause insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty by any member of the U.S. military. The penalty is up to 20 years in prison.
Ooh, that's a big penalty.
And or a fine. Okay, that's exactly what we just saw.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me read it again. Prohibits knowingly advising, counseling, urging, or in any manner causing or attempting to cause insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty.
Oh, yeah.
And we just saw senators and congressmen make a video with big, bold letters saying you must disobey your orders.
And I'll tell you something here. You want to know why these senators, representatives don't give up the ship? You want to know why they feel, these individuals here, you want to know why they feel comfortable doing this? It's because they're confident nothing is going to happen to them. The reason why, listen, we in this country, we get what we tolerate. This is one of my favorite sayings. As a parent, you're raising children. You get from your children what you tolerate of your children. If you let your kids have a meltdown, they've got Sharpies and markers, they're drawing on the wall, they're throwing eggs at the ceiling, whatever, they're causing mayhem. Well, they're probably doing that because you haven't cracked down on it before. They think they can get away with it. Okay, there's my parenting analogy. Back to reality here, though. The reason why they upload this video, because keep in mind, they have 7 or 8 different people. They've got a script. They record it. They edit it. They upload it. They're all in on this. Okay, it's a whole process to make this video here. And the reason why they do it is because they think they're going to get away with it. They think that nothing is going to happen. And it is sedition. And it is treason. It's insurrection. Whatever you want to call it. All of the above. They're checking all the boxes. The party of no kings is now calling for the military and intelligence community to subvert the will of the democratically elected, who? Commander-in-Chief President of the United States of America. When they say, quote, save our democracy, this is what they really mean. They mean that whenever democracy, the democratic process, doesn't go their way, they're going to drop an atomic bomb on it and blow it up. The Democrats, they are in favor of democracy so long as democracy goes their way. The second the democracy or the democratic process in this country does not go their way, well, then they're ready to rip it all up and start over again. That's what they're trying to do. Another viral post here. This is part of the color revolution movement. 1, military and police, and the 2, civil service, are 2 of the 6 pillars of society that color revolutionary movements target in order to remove institutional power from the government. A video like this is intended to undermine President Trump's legitimacy, authority, and capacity ahead of the 2028 election. Very clearly, 100%. These people are seditionists. They are insurrectionists. They are wannabe revolutionaries. And I say wannabe revolutionaries because are we going to let that happen? No, of course we're not. Of course not. 18 USC 2387, sedition covers knowingly urging this is what they read on the InfoWars video we watched, knowingly urging, advising, counseling members of the armed forces to disobey lawful orders. Now, once again, in this video, did they ever say which orders were unlawful? If I'm talking to this individual here, if I'm talking to Slotkin, whatever, any of them, and I say, okay, specifically, which order, though, is unlawful? They wouldn't have an answer. They have no answer. There is no answer. President Trump is not doing anything unlawful. This is meant to incite crazy people in the military, the intelligence apparatus, to go ahead and undermine and subvert President Trump. This is a dog whistle. That is what this is. Now, Stephen Miller actually appeared on Fox News earlier today, talking very clearly about this. He issued a video response. Take a look at this.
It is insurrection, plainly, directly, without question. And when you have one of the lawmakers on that video being unable to state in, as you say, lengthy cross-examination, a single so-called illegal order, it just proves the point. It's a general call for rebellion from the CIA and the armed services of the United States by Democrat lawmakers, saying that you have not only the right, but the duty and the obligation to defy orders of the commander-in-chief, that those who carry weapons in America's name should defy their chain of command and engage in open acts of insurrection, that the CIA, the clandestine service, which isn't even legally authorized to operate in the United States, should engage in, again, acts of rebellion and insurrection. These lawmakers should honestly resign in disgrace and never return to public office again.
They should be arrested. They should be arrested immediately, yes or no?
For even daring to think, let alone to say these words, and to say them proudly. But it shows what a dangerous moment we're in. We have seen the Democratic Party nurse the flames of violence and insurrection against the federal government for the last 10 months. When you see this continuous campaign of violence against ICE officers and Border Patrol agents, when you see Democrat sanctuary politicians and Democrat sanctuary governors side with the rioters, side with the assaulters over federal law enforcement, and that spills even into juries and grand juries, when you see Democrat jurors engage in nullification to let off violent attackers who are engaging in physical violence, physical assault against federal officers. This is a dangerous moment. You have a political party, an organization, the Democrat Party, and their message is that any action, no matter how unlawful, no matter how dangerous, no matter how much it threatens constitutional order, is justified if it keeps Democrat policies in effect at any cost.
Listen, you know, here's kind of the real deal, though. Laws, all of these rules, these laws, legislation that we have in this country, they kind of don't exist unless somebody enforces them. So yeah, we have, 18 USC 2387, knowingly urging, advising, counseling members of the armed forces to disobey lawful orders. This is black and white. We know what they are doing. It's on video. They intentionally did it. This is a crime, up to 20 years in prison. We know exactly what this is. But they feel brazen enough to do it because they must be confident that nothing is going to happen. We've got to smack these people back in line. Okay? This level of just belligerence here. Openly, not only personally, individually undermining the president, but also compelling, and they're in positions of power. These are senators, these are House representatives, compelling members of our military armed services to undermine President Trump's authority, to disobey his lawful orders, etc. All of the above. Listen, we cannot tolerate this. And like I said, these laws, they might as well not exist unless we enforce them, unless President Trump enforces them. Now, Steve Bannon, who is one of President Trump's advisors, actually, they still talk a lot to this day. Steve Bannon issued a statement that kind of relates to all of this, actually about a month ago, 2.5 weeks ago. But I think it's timely and I think it makes sense with what's going on today. So I want to play this for you folks.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right? We have to codify it. And people say, well, they're just going to be messing bills going to pass Senate. We got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it.
Now he's talking nuclear option. We are going to talk a little bit about the nuclear option today, but so far, right? Absolutely correct. Everything he's saying. Listen, we have, and I try to say this every single day because I genuinely deeply believe this. If we do not save the republic now, like as in today, at a minimum in the next 3 years before President Trump exits the White House, we only have him for 3 more years. You know that, right? Midterms are less than a year away from today. Less than a year. We've already been in the White House for 10, 11 months now. If we do not save the country, save the republic now, if we do not undo the damage the Democrats caused, Joe Biden caused during the last 4 years, and if we do not save the republic now, preemptively, before they have a chance to further destroy it, then it's going to be lost. This administration is our last chance. This is the last chance. You guys understand? It is entirely possible. I'm not trying to scare anybody here, but you never know. Let's have, we're all adults. Let's have a realistic adult conversation. It is possible that we lose midterms and that we lose the 2028 election. If we lose the 2028 election, you need to keep in mind, more often than not, presidents are not 4-year presidents. They end up becoming 8-year presidents. If you win once, odds are you're going to win again. So it is entirely possible, and I don't want this to happen. I fight every day to stop this from happening. It is possible that we have a far left radical progressive in the White House between 2029 and 2037. And God, I hope that's not the case. But if we do not save the country now, then that might happen, and then it's over. Any type of America First movement, any type of nativist, we want mass deportations, we want to repatriate labor, all of these things that we all love. We want reciprocal tariffs, any type of America First, American nationalist movement. If we don't lock it in now, then it's like never going to happen. It's like never going to happen. Now is the chance. We have to pursue it now. I'm going to let him finish talking here.
President Trump today gave to the Senate when they came over for breakfast, even Lindsey Graham, some of the guys he liked, and some of these institutions, I understand. This is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement that not in a million years, because I talked to him today, quite frankly, I had Hawley on the show this morning, Josh Hawley, and he's talking about it, and I'm trying to play the institution. Well,
Nuclear
they called
option.
me up this afternoon and said, let's go through the 10 reasons we need to do it. And these are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, the limited government constitutionalist in our movement. And they're about to come out over the next couple of days and make this argument because it said, look, we have to understand that if we don't take this to the maximum, a maximalist strategy
full steam
now
ahead
with a sense of urgency, and in doing this, seize the institutions, if we don't do that now, we're going to lose this chance forever because you're never going to have another Trump.
And so what does this mean? This means arresting these people that are fomenting sedition, insurrection, trying to actively right now. These are senior ranking Democrats in the Senate and the White House that are telling members of the intelligence apparatus and members of our military to undermine and ignore President Trump's lawful orders. That is really effectively what they're saying. By nature of not telling them what unlawful orders President Trump is issuing, they're saying just effectively undermine him every chance you get. And that's what they want. And then there's also the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And if you do that, then we got your back. If you undermine President Trump and his America First agenda, then hey, we got your back. We're going to help protect you. We're going to bail you out. Okay? That's kind of the implicit message here. And so we're talking about that. We got to get these people. We have to hold them accountable criminally. The people that we saw in this video here, the House members and the senators. And then also we're talking nuclear option. This is what Bannon was talking about a little bit now. Listen, and this is what I was talking about. We need to legislatively lock in and codify the America First agenda, because if we don't, it's probably going to be too late. We all during the 2024 election, we all understood how important this election was. We said the fate of the nation hangs in the balance of the 2024 election. We won the election. We turned out. We took the House. We took the Senate. We took the White House. Now we got to use it. Because as they say, if you don't use it, what's going to happen? You're going to lose it. And so I'm very happy to say, still to this day, even though the government shutdown has come to an end, the official stance of the Trump administration is we want to go nuclear. Carolyn Levitt spoke about this last night. Take a look.
He's in total agreement that we need to let go of the filibuster. It's not serving the purpose that it originally intended to serve anymore. It's really a moot point, and he wants to see it gone so that he can have the most productive 3 years of any president ever. He's already been so productive in his first term. He ushered through the largest middle-class tax cut in just 6 months, which is amazing. There's so much more work to do. Election integrity, voter ID, getting rid of universal mail-in ballots. All of that can be done if Congress works together and gets rid of the filibuster. So the president is definitely talking a lot about that, both publicly and privately. I know he's expressed his opinion on that to leaders in the Senate who may agree or disagree. We'll have to see how it shakes out. But there's so much that can be accomplished, and we must take advantage of having the most productive president in the Oval Office. You know, Republicans need to get off their butts and move, and that's what the president wants to see them do, and that's what the American people are expecting.
This is my message to the Senate Republicans that are kind of lagging behind here. That some of them, they don't want to activate the nuclear option here. If you want to call yourself a Republican, then you need to step up, get off your ass, do what President Trump has told you to do. Step up and save the Republic. If you want to have the title, I'm a Republican, then maybe you should save the Republic. Get rid of the filibuster, and we can pass a battery, legislation after legislation after legislation, bill after bill after bill after bill to codify, to make permanent the America First agenda. This is voter ID. This is proof of citizenship when you register to vote, voter registration. This is all types of stuff, okay? And she listed 4 or 5 things. President Trump, I'm sure he's got a list of 100 things. If you want to call yourself a Republican, Thune, or whoever else is in the Senate here, save the Republic, okay? We're talking about nuclear option, and also we're talking about criminally punishing these people, these Democrats, these members of the far left that are trying to create an insurrection very clearly. Very clearly. And you know what? I'll tell you what, speaking about criminally punishing some of these members of the deep state or far left radically progressive Democrats sitting in the House and the Senate, President Trump, I think he's getting a little bit frustrated. And can I show you why I say that? Let me show you why I say that. President Trump on Truth Social, I saw this yesterday afternoon. President Trump, he reposted something else that somebody posted on, it was a meme on Truth Social, where it says, "For the love of God, Pam Bondi, just arrest somebody." President Trump reposted this. "For the love of God, Pam Bondi, just start arresting people." It's like, what do these people have to do? How much more anti-American, belligerent, crazy, insane behavior do they have to engage in before Pam Bondi says, okay, you know what, we're bringing charge for the love of God? And rest in peace, Chris Farley. He's a great comedian. He died in, I think, the late 90s. Rest in peace. He's a funny guy. And so now you got Pam Bondi. For the love of God. Okay, listen, it's been 10 months. I understand. Listen, I don't expect Pam Bondi to be working miracles here. It takes time to build out a bulletproof, airtight criminal case. You got to have the proof and the paperwork and the documentation. You got to connect the dots. Okay, I understand it's complex. It's been 10 months. It's been 10 months. No one has been arrested. Okay, at least none of these senior ranking members in the deep state or the Democrat Party. Now, we've had some depositions. We've had some indictments. I think we had 1 or 2 indictments have come out. No one has been arrested. I want charges. Okay, I want people sitting behind prison bars. I want people sitting in a prison cell. Do you want that? That's what I want. And I know that's what President Trump wants, for the love of God. You know, if you want to win midterms, you got to give the base some meat. You got to give the base what they want. What does the base want? We're a simple people. Really, we're not asking too much. We want these insane anti-American traitors in the deep state or the far-left Democrat Party. We want them held accountable. We want criminal action or criminal accountability. We've had enough of the criminal action. Now we want criminal accountability. Boom, criminal accountability. We want mass deportations. Let's go. Actually, I think the deportations are picking up in pace. We're set to have 3 million people deported by the end of the year. That's a big deal. We want deportation, criminal accountability. We want a good economy. Trump is focusing on the economy now. So he is making some positive moves. Pam Bondi, let's go. President Trump, he's like a Clydesdale, okay? He's pulling this carriage all by himself. He's got people that are supposed to be helping him out here. And I'm not saying that everybody else is doing nothing, but I am looking at Pam Bondi. Listen, for the love of God, let's start making some arrests. Now, if we can real quickly pivot back to this video. The allegation here is that President Trump is engaging in unlawful commands, unlawful orders of the U.S. military or the intelligence apparatus. What really has President Trump been doing so far? He's been deporting people. He's having ICE go around the country, kicking in doors, snatching people off the sidewalk. Okay, good. And he's been blowing up narco trafficking boats. Cartel crackdown. Earlier today, the USCG continues to break records, offloading over $362 million worth of illicit drug. That's a lot of money in the Eastern Pacific. This offload marks the most amount of cocaine seized by a single cutter in one patrol in Coast Guard history. So they're seizing these drug boats in the East Pacific, in the Gulf of America, off the coast of Venezuela. They're blowing up boats. They did it again. They've blown up like 20 different narco trafficking boats now. The Coast Guard and all types, they're blowing them up. They're snatching them. And thank God for that. So it's like, I just want to understand what the argument here is. This is $362 billion worth of cocaine. Whoa. What exactly is the argument? Is the argument here from Slotkin and Kelly that Trump should not be blowing up narco trafficking boats? Is that really the argument? Because I actually, personally, you call me a radical, I think we should be blowing up narco trafficking boats. That's my humble opinion. Let me know if you agree. Should we be doing this? Should Trump be doing this? Yeah, I think so. We saw that every single one of these boats on average has enough narcotics to kill 25,000 Americans, maybe more. Every single boat that Trump blows up, you need to consider 25,000 Americans or more have been saved as a consequence of that. Okay, I'm in favor of that. I know some people, they don't like it. Maybe some of the libertarians. Rand Paul, we need to give the narco traffickers due process. It's in the Constitution. What? Huh? What in the living hell are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean we need to let the illicit narcotics come from Venezuela into our country before we do anything about it? Well, the Constitution. No, it doesn't. What the hell are you talking about? Let's blow them up in the ocean, okay? And then maybe the fish out here can have a fun time. Every time I see one of these boats getting blown up, I think about all the fish swimming around. Imagine you're a fish and then cocaine starts sifting down through the water. Whoa! These fish are having the time of their life. So he's blowing up these boats. Is this an unlawful command in the military? No, of course not. And then I saw this the other day. Actually, this article's from today. More than 200 migrant criminals arrested in Charlotte. I want to go through this with you folks. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol CBP reports having arrested 200 illegal aliens. You need to get the terminology. Criminal illegal aliens is what they are in Charlotte, North Carolina during the first weekend of its Operation Charlotte's Web. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, identified about 44 of those arrested by name and listed many of the offenses and convictions they are reportedly guilty of. Now, by the way, once again, by the end of the year, we're set to have 3 million deportations. About 2.3 self-deportations, about 700,000 compelled deportations, forced 3 million in total. That's minus 3 million illegal aliens. Now, of course, we want more than that, and I remain optimistic. I think we are going to get more than that. I think the rate of these deportations is going to continue increasing exponentially, and the reason why I say that is because the big beautiful bill afforded the Trump administration the federal funding necessary to hire another 10,000 ICE agents. You know, when President Trump stepped into the White House 10 or 11 months ago, he only had 4,500 ICE agents. 4,500. That's like nothing. This is a big country. So when Trump stepped in the White House, he had 4,500 ICE agents to try to get rid of 50 million illegal aliens. The numbers are not looking good there. So we're hiring more, thank God. DHS noted that some of the offenses these migrants were tied to include aggravated assault, assault with a deadly weapon, assault on a police officer, battery, driving under the influence, and hit and run. These illegal aliens, man, they love hit and run. They're always driving into ICE agents. They love trying to run them over. That's their new thing. Have you noticed that? They are trying to hit and run every day. There's absolutely no excuse to continue allowing criminal illegal aliens to terrorize our American communities. These are violent assailants, gang members, repeat offenders who have zero regard for the rule of law in our country. If any of these illegal aliens had any ounce of a shred of respect for the rule of law of this country, guess what? They wouldn't be in the country, would they? Because I think some people forget this. We have federal immigration law that we, the American people, have collectively agreed upon. And that immigration law says not everybody from around the world is allowed to come and go in our nation as they see fit. You have to have a visa. You have to have a green card. You have to come here legally. You have to come here legally. Let's put it that way. So if they had any respect for this country at all, they would not have illegally invaded our country. If I have respect for you as a homeowner, I'm not going to kick in your window and come crawling in your window and start eating food out of the fridge. That's only something I would do if I did not respect you and your home as a homeowner. Okay? By the way, I'm getting hungry. Hopefully there's something good in my fridge later tonight. Now, they are here illegally and should never have been here in the first place. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem, we are removing the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens from our communities once and for all. Now, we have a little video of how this Operation Charlotte's Web has been unfolding over the last 48 hours.
Across Charlotte, more than 200 people have been arrested since the crackdown began over the weekend. Local officials and Democrats slamming the actions, while North Carolina's Republican Party praised the enforcement. It's being dubbed Operation Charlotte's Web, spearheaded by U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Regardless of Republican or Democratic city, we're going to enforce the laws across this country.
Thank God. Thank God. And you know what? Right now, still to this day, we are seeing the Trump administration attempting every single day to rip away federal funding from these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Every single time the Trump administration tries to rip away federal funding from these sanctuary states, Then some radically progressive judge in the lower federal judiciary steps in and says, actually, you can't do that. And every single time it's a legal battle that wastes tens of millions of dollars. It's just, I have complete and total progressive. I have far left fatigue. Far left fatigue. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. But we can't let that stop us. Really, we need to let that energize us because we need to keep going. Those arrested include 18th Street gang member Manuel Vasquez Guevaret, MS-13 gang member, assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault, who was already deported at least one time before. Americans should be able to live without fear of violent criminal illegal aliens hurting their families or their neighbors. We are urging DHS law enforcement to Charlotte to ensure Americans are safe and public safety threats are removed. There have been too many victims of illegal alien crimes. President Trump and Secretary Noem will step up to protect Americans when sanctuary politicians won't, and they won't. And they won't, and they don't, and they haven't. And they probably never will, which is why they must be forced. They will comply. In fact, I don't know if you remember this. There was a point in American history. It was called, a little thing you might have heard about. It's called the Civil War, where for different circumstances, but similar dynamic nonetheless, we had a bunch of states that thought that they actually didn't have to operate in accordance with federal law. And then we had a war over it. Long story short, we had a war. And as a little bit of a spoiler, the federal government won. And so we kind of already litigated this. And now it's almost in a weird way. It's almost kind of like a strange repeat where once again, we have all of these, in this case, a bunch of far left, radically progressive sanctuary states, sanctuary cities that think that they actually don't have to operate in accordance with federal law. And you know what? I hate to say this, but they actually haven't had to operate in accordance with federal law because we haven't had an administration until now that has had the spine, the backbone, the balls to actually step up and say, listen, actually, hey guys, hey Governor Gavin Newsom, hey Tina Kotick in Oregon, hey Inslee in Washington, whatever. You actually do, Pritzker, you actually do need to follow the law. We have federal laws. We are a nation of law and order and rule. And you do actually need to follow federal immigration law. And that is the battle that is being fought right now on the streets of America. And thank God President Trump and DHS and ICE and CBP, they're not only are they not stalling out, it seems like they're picking up speed. They are hiring more agents. They want more boots on the ground. Thank God for that. But the whole sanctuary city and sanctuary state dynamic, it's similar to the video that we watched. This one right here. You do not have to follow unlawful orders of the president. Similar to the sanctuary states and sanctuary cities, the reason why they upload a video like this, these Democrat senators and House representatives, they upload this video because they think they're going to get away with it. And you know what? I hope they're wrong, but they might be right. This is why we need these people to be held accountable. It is very clear. It is black and white. We know they have committed a crime. We know they violated the law here. Hold them accountable, Trump. When these people pop up, you have to hold them accountable because if we don't, they will only get more brazen. They will only get more aggressive with their rhetoric. They will only get more aggressive with the ways that they seek to undermine the will of the American people. And so it must be stopped. We have a super chat from Blade. He says, hey, Matt, come on over, man. I have a brisket in the smoker. That sounds good. That sounds good. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Sounds good to me. We have a super chat over here from Paulie Puree. He says, Rand Paul is a rhino. Rand Paul is a rhino. You know, Rand Paul is kind of an interesting case. When I think of rhino, personally, I think of like neocon, Warhawk. I think of somebody like Lindsey Graham. I think of like Dick Cheney. I think of Paul Ryan. That's kind of in my brain when I think of rhino. Now, I guess terminologically, Rand Paul, maybe he is a Republican in name only, like technically speaking, but he's kind of cut from a different cloth. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's kind of a little bit different. By the way, Republican means, or rhino means Republican in name only. So you're right. He is a Republican in name only, I guess, technically, but he's like kind of a different dynamic. He's in his own world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want today's episode to be real short and sweet. This is a crazy topic, and I had to get the message out here. I want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Like I said at the start of today's broadcast, I have been uploading some videos lately on YouTube, and I have noticed that there is a certain amount of suppression going on here. So it is absolutely imperative. If you are new to the show on YouTube or on Rumble, do me a favor, make sure to follow. I'm sincerely human to human. I'm making a request. If you're new here, follow, subscribe, spread the broadcast around. We're trying to speak truth to this stuff every single day. Videos, shorts, Rumble broadcasts, all of it, live broadcasts. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, everything. Follow on Twitter. There's been some weird stuff going on YouTube. I'm not lying about that. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We're going to be back tomorrow, full steam ahead. There are no breaks on the train here. And until then, until I see you folks tomorrow on Rumble and YouTube, everybody stay safe and God bless. And thank you very much for tuning in. Take care.